And we are also joined by Robert Appelbaum. He's the head of South Asia at Webber Wentzel, and we're getting more insight into South African companies going through business rescue through these very tough economic times. Robert, thanks for your time. I think we have seen the headlines, ever as being one, going through business rescue, but maybe let's start from scratch. How did this come about? Why did you say you're going to take a particular interest in business rescue and hence the book?
Well, we started when business rescue first came to the fore in terms of the New Companies Act. I actually thought there was good to be done, when there were companies to be saved and jobs to be saved, and I thought there was actually going to be a general good. And became involved very early on in a business rescue in Durban of a construction company. And very soon, everyone that could be challenging the business rescue was challenging the business rescue. And actually in sitting and trying to interpret what was required, and I was representing the business rescue practitioner, what was required of a practitioner who had 354 obligations, 354 things he had to do within 25 days. Okay, it was totally just mad. And then we sort of sat and started analyzing what the rights were, what the obligations were, what the conditions were, and unpacking it. And sat and took out wonderful markers we'd all use at university in going through our scripts, and unpacked the actual act. And as a joke, I said to Carl, my co-author and the business rescue practitioner at the time, I said, why don't we write a book? And he said, absolutely. So 2 years later, we wrote the book.
So the rules were too onerous, they just didn't help.
It's very, I mean, our longest sentence is, what were we, 154 words in one sentence.
Sure.
Now, you know, someone's got to follow that. Someone's got to actually understand what was intended. It was written in committee by a South African lawyer, a Canadian lawyer, and various others. So it's what happens when you write in committee. It's also what happens when you take foreign law and impose it in South Africa, which Canadian, we basically copied a lot of their acts. And it's not particularly well written. It's quite opaque. And for the man in the street and for the business in trouble, they're going to, you know, it's hard to interpret.
Is this going to change the supposition that generally is looked on at business rescue? Business rescue is just one step away from disaster, from bankruptcy, from shareholders losing it all. So there's been this aura around it that it's not a save it, it's a drop it.
It's a step on the way to insolvency.
Yes.
Well, you know,
is this going to contribute to changing that?
One hopes, because
yes.
in it we also give some advice towards the back of the book to various affected parties, including judges. Okay. So in Chapter 7 of the Act, they have great lofty ideals about what the entire Act is meant to do. And in relation to business rescue, it says save businesses that are distressed, yes, and look after all the stakeholders. Now, the problem in liquidation is who gets looked after, whereas this was intended to have everyone. So, you know, what we actually recommend, and it's not even recommend, the Act has lots of rights available to employees and trade unions. Now, as far as I'm aware, and I may be wrong, there's been one case to date where an employee tried to follow their rights in terms of the Act. Then, in my view, and quite unfortunately the judges viewed it somewhat differently, and rejected what the proposition was. But in essence, this says that if someone comes along to a meeting and everyone's voting in favor of, and someone doesn't like it, then the other parties can buy that person out. Now that should allow labor unions and employees to get into the game. Now, they aren't standing up for their rights, maybe because of the cost. So our hope is to democratize the law, to allow them to actually go and pick up the book and go, okay, it's all color-coded, and these are our rights, and these are our obligations, and we, the employee, this is what we should be doing. That's what we're hoping comes through.
So in the past, it's obviously the favor has been towards those who could afford
Correct.
the consultancy fees.
Absolutely.
And that's very sad. That's not justice, is it?
Well, I don't think it is. And one needs, you know, one needs the people who are really affected, the employees and the trade unions, to come to the fore.
So, Robert, are you saying that if, for example, I am with an organization that is undergoing business rescue or is under heavy financial trouble, I'd be able to pick up a copy of this and be able to navigate my way through it?
Absolutely. and it'll tell you exactly what you should be doing. It'll tell you, I mean, so the employee has the right to information, to participate in meetings, to be heard, and to follow it all the way through, if possible, to actually come together either singly or with other employees and make an offer. They could team up with a venture capitalist. They could make suggestions in terms of everyone reducing salaries to save jobs. But it's not the way it's been dealt. This does democratize. It does bring that out.
Well, that's encouraging. You know, there's been a lot of publicity over, say, take a company like Everest Highfield, you know, and it's just been that it's been sitting there waiting to disappear almost. And that's very sad, because the social implications, never mind just the business implications, you mentioned jobs, of the ripple impact to how many more people dependent on services and goods supplied to that company. It can have a terrifying impact.
Absolutely. And the next step then is insolvency.
I just want to sneak a quick question in quickly. What is the success rate of business rescue? Because as Ian said in the beginning, one thinks of business rescue and you think, well, that's it then.
It's very hard to determine, and that's the, you know, it's one to say how many business rescues are there. So yesterday I phoned CNBC and said, so how many do we have? And I was told, well, the numbers aren't entirely there, but 300 plus that are currently undergoing business rescue in the country. Success rates, very interesting. I actually don't know, and that's the part that scares me, because the next step is insolvency, and then everyone loses.
Yes.
Robert, thanks so much. Best of luck with this book.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully I never have to find myself using it. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Ian Cruikshanks. He's the Chief Economist at the Institute of Race Relations, and Robert Appelbaum. He's the Head of South Asia at Webber Wentzel, telling us about business rescue.